All the parts for the front suspension are finally here. Now before we head out in the garage, I got a couple things that I want to mention. First things first, now this is a big hint, I won't tell you what it is, but that should give it away. I'll show you what that's all about in just a second. Now the second thing that I want to mention, if you're new or you've been here for a while, or maybe you've just missed it before, this is my board of motivation. And this is where I have stuff like a picture of my grandma, my niece, and then all my favorite comments that help me get through some times where I'm not doing so great. And today we're adding a comment from That Red 12V. And he says, "You're super underappreciated on this app, man. But once it's done, watch how many people open their mouth. Good work, man. Keep it up." I really liked this comment. At the time, I guess it just stood out to me. But anyways, it's going on the board. I love seeing stuff like this, so guys, please keep it up. Now, sit back, enjoy. I've worked my ass off these past couple of weeks to put everything in place for what you're about to see. And all the work that I've done is hopefully gonna be paying off soon. Anyways, let's head out in the garage. Okay, quick story about this engine here. Now, a buddy of mine showed me this and it was on Facebook Marketplace and it was for a pretty good price, and we found out that it had Vortec heads on it, and that's what the original plan for the Prelude was to get some easy, cheap power out of Vortec heads for the small block Chevy. So we brought it home and I took it apart, and to my surprise, we looked inside and that's a valve. And if you look behind it, there's a crack in the wall there, and obviously the piston's all messed up. This entire head gasket, I'm assuming, went once that blew up. So anyways, I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna use the engine, but at least I still got the Vortec heads. Well, I actually don't, because that's not good. I'm assuming that's where the valve kept smashing into the bottom of this head here as that piston kept going up and down. I do have one good one, but I mean, that's no good without the other one. But I did get the aluminum intake. This is an aluminum Edelbrock intake that's specially made for the Vortec heads and the small block Chevy. So that's a plus. And I paid $500 for this. That intake's about $250. And then it also has all the internals like the cam, the crank, and all the hardware. So I messaged the guy and I told him, hey, listen, man, I feel like I got the wool pulled over my eyes. Luckily, he was a really cool guy and we agreed to split the difference, and he was gonna give me $250 back. And when I sent him my email, he ended up saying Merry Christmas and gave me $400 back. So I got all this stuff here for $100. Now that's cool and all. He really made my day once he gave me that money back, and I didn't get as screwed as I thought I was gonna be. But I still needed the heads and an engine, and I was just lost because I didn't have what I needed. But luckily the very next day, let me just show you. So I haven't had a ton of luck with engines, but this here was given to me, again, like everything else in the shop, by my father-in-law, Fred. He knows that we haven't had the best luck with the engines that I've been buying and what I plan on putting in this car. So he had this laying around the shop. And the good thing about this engine, let's see if I can spin this around. Anyway, so the good thing about this is that the entire lower end is complete. It just needs the top end. And as you guys seen here, even though that engine is garbage, it came with the Vortec intake that I wanted, and I wasn't gonna give up on these Vortec heads. So yesterday I found a good set that were freshly machined and they just had a valve job on them. So these are good to go. So they can go along with this intake, and I'm buying some valve covers for this in the next couple days. But the main parts of the engine, we have everything. All right guys, so as you see here, I got all the stuff that I need for the front end. The knuckles are scattered all over the place, but I got the new control arms. These are 1 inch longer, and if you watch the last couple of videos, you know that we need to get the entire wheel assembly as far as we can away from the frame, because right now the spring is touching the frame. So these are 1 inch longer, and because we're going with the coilovers right off the knuckles, we don't need the lower control arms that have that cup in the middle where the spring used to be. So these are tubular control arms. They weigh like 15 pounds less, so it'll save us a little bit of weight in the front. I got new rotors. We got these plates here that Chris made. That's gonna be the new Mustang bolt pattern for the new strut towers. So we gotta weld these in. These will get bolted into these, so that these are caster and camber plates, and that's gonna allow for some slight adjustability. And then the coilovers will get bolted into this at the top end. So for today, I think we're gonna put the control arms in. We might put the coilovers together and bolt everything up. But when they go through the strut towers, those aren't obviously ready yet because, like I just told you, I gotta weld those plates in. And I don't think I'm gonna get to that today. But at least we'll get most of the stuff bolted in, and then all we gotta work on is the strut towers. And then we should have this car back to where I want it. So I'm looking at the assembly of the coilover, and I have everything laid out just like the instructions, and it doesn't seem like I can put these in right now. The reason why I say that is because on this diagram and me actually looking at it in person, there's nothing stopping the hardware from coming off the coilovers until it actually goes into the caster and camber plates. So I'm gonna try to focus on that next. I think that's the next step anyways. We're gonna worry about the strut towers and the caster and camber plates, and then I can do the coilovers. So for now, we're just gonna put the control arms in, and then we'll see where we get from there. And one more thing before we get back onto the car, please, I know you're already subscribed, but check down here. That little bell icon needs to be clicked, and you gotta click all. That way you can turn the notifications on, so every time I upload, you're not gonna miss a video, and it's gonna help me gain traction and grow my channel. The more you guys help me, the more I can put out some sweet content, and then we can do some crazy burnouts, drifting, drag racing, all the fun stuff with this car. But it's free for you guys to just click these buttons that I ask for every time in the video. It helps out a ton, and I really, really do appreciate it. I pretty much got this one in and I realized I wasn't even recording. Jeez. All right, so I ended up getting the passenger side done, control arms in, tie rods on, but it looks like with these new knuckles that I won't actually be able to get both tie rods on, because if I go one way, then the other one's too short. But I got the control arm on here. So I got the tie rod out here. I'm probably gonna have to extend this and make it a little bit longer. Unless you guys know, if you do, let me know in the comments if there's a tie rod, an outer tie rod for a Mustang that would thread right onto that, and it's longer than the one that I got here. Then I wouldn't have to do any modifications, and I'm all for that right now. The less work that I got to do, the faster this will get done. Anyways, unfortunately, we weren't able to do the coilovers today because I got to finish the strut towers, but that will be next. I will tackle that full speed and I will not stop. I'll get the strut towers done, and then we can put the coilovers in, and hopefully I can get the tie rods figured out by then as well, because then we should be able to just put the car down, get rid of the jack stands, and have this car rolling around again. And before I let you guys go, I just want you to look at how beautiful this is. I absolutely just can't wait. This is gonna be awesome. If you haven't seen a video in a while, or maybe this is the first time you're checking out one of my videos, go through my channel and find something that you like, something that interests you, and give me views. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Get my watch time up because I'm trying to get monetized. Anyways, guys, I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for the ongoing support, and I'll see you guys next time.